Okay, everybody, winter is coming, and so I'm going to get my Honda, you can see EU2200i inverter generator. I'm going to service it now. I thought I'd capture a video. Of course, it's in the off position. The gas valve up here is in the off position. I'm going to remove this bolt. This is where we do all of our service on these little generators. And I'm going to lay this over here. And as a note while I'm here, if you ever have to service the carburetor, take these little nuts out and you can pull this out and you can service your carburetor. But today what I'm doing is simple oil change. Now Honda recommends you do this every 6 months or every 100 hours of service, I believe is what it says. But you know, you decide how often you service it. Changing oil is inexpensive. Now I've ran this, and I'm old school, I guess, but I did get this warm. So I've been running it this morning. So now I'm taking the oil dipstick out. And it's not typical to see this. To drain these, you have to sort of have something to catch it with and kind of lay these over. They're not like traditional where you have some plug in the bottom you pull out or something that it lets you drain it. You just kind of have to lay this thing over. Now ideally, when you fill this up, you're just going to use regular 10W30 oil. But let's just kind of see what we've taken out. And according to this, we've taken out right at 16 ounces. Now Honda says that this thing uses about 14 ounces. And according to this, we pulled out about 16. So it may have had a little bit too much. I mean, you do this a couple of ways. You basically fill it until you can see it here in the bottom reservoir. But of course, for that to be accurate, you need to be level. I'm going to lay this over again just to make sure. I've got all that out. Okay. Now, I've already set up my new oil. Just regular 10W30 oil is all I'm using. And I think I will use a funnel. And like I say, Honda says about 14 ounces. So let's just see where that gets us. If we get at that bottom level where we can see it, that's good. I'm just pouring it slowly. Okay. Now that's right at about 14 ounces. So let's let that settle for a minute and let's see. Now look at there. You can see it's starting to pour out a little. So that's about right. That's what you want. You want to see it at that bottom. And now I'm going to close it up. I mean, that's all you need. You don't really need to overfill it. Like I said, I may have had a little too much in there because I measured exactly 14 ounces this time. And that's what I put in there. And if I can just get this to screw back in now. Okay, and I got some of the excess. I'm going to wipe this up. Clean it up a little bit. Here. And it's pretty inexpensive, so I mean, I would recommend, you know, get on a regular schedule, changing your oil. These things will last a long time. For you casita owners, you can't beat, really for anybody, you can't beat the Honda One thing I did notice, I did an earlier video about, was when I first bought this, I did have to service that carb a couple times. It wouldn't start on me. But since I've gone to non-ethanol gas strictly, I've never had that problem again. So I would recommend, in these little small engine things, just strictly use non-ethanol gas. Okay, now, so I've got that wiped up. Now, let's check this while we're here. See how this is looking. Like I say, if you have to service the carb, it's here. Well, there's a filter. It looks good. This has really not had much service. I use it primarily for my casita, if you're boondocking. And this will run your air conditioner. You can't run the air conditioner, microwave, and all at the same time, but I don't. And it works very well. So, okay, guys, I've got it cleaned up now. All I've got to do is put this cover back on. And let's see, I've got this turned on. Turn this on. I'm not going to choke it down. Now, one other thing I'll mention to you too is, of course, this has an eco mode. This is a quiet, probably the quietest generator you can get. You can turn this thing on; it really quietens it down. Let me give you a test of that. Let me start. Oops, I'm sorry, I got it turned off. I mean, listen how it quietens that down. I mean, it's running a little rough. It'll straighten out in a minute here. I got my choke on here. But it'll really get down real quiet. And another thing, if you use that Hughes auto former for your protection, it'll give you a grounding error. That's the reason I have this plugged in here. This is a device you buy and you put in your generator. It eliminates that grounding issue that you get if you use the Hughes auto transformers. And if you don't have to worry about that, but I do, and I did a different video on that also. But anyway, this is a very reliable. These things will last forever, just general service and all. You can see my old oil there. So it was dirty, needed changing, and this thing's good to go now. So I'm going to service my other generators and we'll be good to go. So hopefully this is helpful.